Hey everyone, I hope you all are having a nice day wherever you are. Well, for me, I'm sure having a nice day today. It's around 10 o'clock here, and I just finished my morning routine, and I just started to record this podcast for you guys. And we are on a reading of a book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you guys were with me in my the other podcasts, then you probably would know that we are reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and we are on the chapters where the author has said that the 10 steps as a process to develop your God-given powers, right? The powers over which only you have control. So I'm very fascinated about these steps that author has mentioned here. Those are 10 steps, and if you follow those steps into your financial life or into your personal life, then I'm sure that you're gonna get some results, right? So that's why I'm reading out those chapters, and so that you guys can just listen to them wherever you are. If you're working, if you're driving, or whatever you're doing, you can just keep your ears on this, and you can just pour as many information as possible into your mind. Okay, so last we finished, I think, the chapter 4, which was master a formula and then learn a new one, right? It is called the power of learning quickly. So today I'm gonna go for the chapter 5, which is pay yourself first, the power of self-discipline. Now this chapter is a little bit lengthy. It's about 4 pages, so it's gonna be a little bit long, but yeah, let's do it. If you cannot get control of yourself, do not try to get rich. It makes no sense to invest, make money, and blow it. It is the lack of self-discipline that causes most lottery winners to go broke soon after winning millions. It is the lack of self-discipline that causes people who get a rise to immediately go out and buy a new car and take a cruise. It is difficult to say which of the 10 steps is the most important, but of all the steps, this step is probably the most difficult to master if it is not already a part of your makeup. I would venture to say that personal self-discipline is the number one delineating factor between the rich and poor and the middle class. Simply put, people who have low self-esteem and low tolerance for financial pressure can never be rich. As I have said, a lesson learned from my rich dad was that the world will push you around. The world pushes people around not because other people are bullies, but because the individual lacks internal control and discipline. People who lack internal fortitude often become victims of those who have self-discipline. In the entrepreneur classes I teach, I constantly remind people to not focus on their product, service, or widget, but to focus on developing management skills. The 3 most important management skills necessary to start your own business are management of, first, cash flow, second, people, third, personal time. I would say the skills to manage these 3 apply to anything, not just entrepreneurs. The 3 matters in the way you live your life as an individual or as part of a family, a business, a charitable organization, a city, or a nation. Each of these skills is enhanced by the mastery of self-discipline. I do not take the saying, pay yourself first, lightly. The statement, pay yourself first, comes from George Classon's book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Millions of copies have been sold, but while millions of people freely repeat that powerful statement, few follow the advice. As I said, financial literacy allows one to read numbers, and numbers tell the story. By looking at a person's income statement and balance sheet, I can readily see if people who spout the words "pay yourself first" actually practices what they preach. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So let us review the financial statements of people who pay themselves first against someone who doesn't. Study the diagram and see if you can pick up some distinctions. Well, friends, here the diagram in this book, which I cannot obviously show you over here, but if I simply explain the diagram, it says that it is a income statement of a person who is paying himself first. So the income statement says two parts: income and expenses. In income, it's salary, and in expenses, it's taxes, rent, food, and all those things. And then there is a balance sheet where it comes assets and liabilities. So in assets, it can be saving or investing, right? So the flow is the person gets salary from the job, so it goes to the income part of the income statement, and then it goes to the balance sheet. Assets where save and invest is there. So from the salary, one person goes to the assets, and then the remaining goes to the expenses. So what author is trying to predict is from your income, the first part of your income should be going to the assets where you are saving or investing or whatever you are doing for your future plans, right? So that is how the author is trying to say to pay yourself first by investing those income first, and then after you pay your expenses. So most of us are really doing the reverse of it, right? Whenever we get income, we first pay our expenses, and then after what is left, we try to put that into our investment. So yeah, that's the diagram over here. Now let's move on to the chapter. Again, it has to do with understanding cash flow, which tells the story. Most people look at the numbers and miss the story. Do you see it? The diagram reflects the actions of individuals who choose to pay themselves first. Each month, they allocate money to their asset column before they pay their monthly expenses. Although millions of people have read Classen's book and understand the words "pay yourself first," in reality, they pay themselves last. Now, I can hear the howls from those of you who sincerely believe in paying your bills first, and I can hear all the responsible people who pay their bills on time. I'm not saying be responsible and not pay your bills. All I'm saying is do what the book says, which is pay yourself first, and the previous diagram is the correct accounting picture of that action. If you can truly begin to understand the power of cash flow, you will soon realize what is wrong with the previous diagram, or why 90% of people work hard all their lives and need government support like social security when they are no longer able to work. Kim and I have had many bookkeepers, accountants, and bankers who have had a major problem with this way of looking at pay yourself first. The reason is that these financial professionals actually do what the masses do. They pay themselves last. There have been times in my life when, for whatever reason, cash flow was far less than my bills. I still paid myself first. My accountant and bookkeeper screamed in panic, "They are going to come after you. The IRS is going to put you in jail. You're going to ruin your credit rating. They will cut off the electricity." I still paid myself first. Why, you ask? Because that's what the story, The Richest Man in Babylon, was all about. The power of self-discipline and the power of internal fortitude. As my rich dad taught me the first month I worked for him, most people allow the world to push them around. A bill collector calls and you pay or else. A cell clerk says, oh, just put it on your charge card. Your real estate agent tells you, go ahead. The government allows you a tax deduction on your home. That is what the book is really about. Having the guts to go against the tide and get rich. You may not be weak, but when it comes to money, many people get wimpy. I'm not saying be responsible. The reason I don't have high credit card debt and do that debt is because I pay myself first. The reason I minimize my income is because I don't want to pay to the government. That is why my income comes from my asset column through a Nevada corporation. If I work for money, the government takes it. Although I pay my bills last, I am financially astute enough to not get into a tough financial situation. I don't like consumer debt. I actually have liabilities that are higher than 90% of the population, but I don't pay for them. Other people pay for my liabilities. They are called tenants. So rule number 1 is paying yourself first is don't get into consumer debt in the first place. Although I pay my bills last, I set it up to have only small unimportant bills that are due. When I occasionally come up short, I still pay myself first. I let the creditors and even the government scream. I like it when they get tough. Why? Because those guys do me a favor. They inspire me to go out and create more money. So I pay myself first, invest money, and let the creditors yell. I generally pay them right away anyway. Kim and I have excellent credit. We just don't cave in to pressure and spend our savings or liquidate stocks to pay for consumer debt. That is not true financial intelligence. To successfully pay yourself first, keep the following in mind. First, don't get into large debt positions that you have to pay for. Keep your expenses low. Build up assets first, then buy the big house or nice car. Being stuck in the rat race is not intelligent. Number 2, when you come up short, let the pressure build and don't dip into your savings or investments. Use the pressure to inspire your financial genius to come up with new ways of making more money, and then pay your bills. You will have increased your ability to make more money as well as your financial intelligence. So many times I have gotten into financial hot water and used my brain to create more income while staunchly defending the asset in my asset column. My bookkeeper has screamed and dived for cover, but I was like a good soldier defending the fort assets. Poor people have poor habits. A common bad habit is innocently called dipping into savings. The rich know that savings are only used to create more money, not to pay bills. I know that sounds tough, but as I said, if you're not tough inside, the world will always push you around anyway. If you do not like financial pressure, then find a formula that works for you. A good one is to cut expenses, put your money in the bank, pay more than your fair share if income tax, buy safe mutual funds, and take the vow of the average. But this violates the pay yourself first rule. This rule does not encourage self-sacrifice or financial abstinence. It doesn't mean pay yourself first and starve. Life was meant to be enjoyed. If you call on your financial genius, you can have all the goodies of life, get rich, and pay bills. And that is financial intelligence. Okay, so that was the chapter 5, where the author has tried to explain that how to pay yourself first whenever you're getting your income. your salary or whatever it is that you are getting as your income, you should put that money first into your assets, and then after you should go for your bills and your expenses. So in the tough situation also, you have to follow the principle of paying yourself first and then going for the bills, even if the pressure is too hard that you might miss your paying your bills. And as author said, that government or the collectors, the tax collectors may scream at you. That's okay. Let them yell, because that is what is going to wake up your financial genius, and that is what is going to make you to search new ways to make more money. And the other thing is, if you feel pressure, never ever try to go for your savings to pay those bills, because those savings are not for paying the bills. Those savings are to make more money. So put those savings into investments rather than paying the bills. So this is the overall outcome of this chapter. I think it is really very good and a really nice advice to pay yourself whenever you are getting the salary or income, right? So I hope you guys would put this nice advice into the practice. If you haven't yet, I have already myself started to put this into practice. Every month, whenever I'm getting a salary as an income, I first of all put some of that part into my another bank account, which is for investment, and then after what is remaining, I put that into my another account, which is for paying the bills and all those things. So that's how I manage different accounts, bank accounts for investment and for expenses, and for the other account which I manage is for an emergency account. So that's where I put money in case of some emergency. I can use that money. So yeah, that's all for today, guys. I hope you liked it. Next time we are going for the chapter 6, which is pay your brokers well, the power of good advice. So that's going to be the next time. For now, I hope you're having a nice day, obviously, and I hope you do whatever you have to put your time and your mind and your money into the investment and to get richer soon. So bye, guys. Have a nice day. Keep smiling and be positive.